A story of friendship, murder, love, and utter despair. This is Hamlet in 5 minutes. Act 1. Our story begins with Officer Bernardo and two loyal Danish subjects, Horatio and Marcellus, seeing a ghost atop the battlements of Castle Elsinore. It turns out that Marcellus has invited Horatio to see and confirm the sighting of this ghost. They recognize the ghost to be the recently deceased King Hamlet. They try to talk to it, but it just disappears. Horatio gets shocked by the ghost's appearance and mentions that Norway just declared war on the Danes. The ghost appears again, but morning arrives and it disappears. Again. And then they decide to inform the dead king's son, Prince Hamlet. In the next scene, the new king aims to stop the war with a letter, decides to marry the former king's wife Gertrude, and everyone notices how depressed Hamlet looks. Hamlet begins to hate himself for not being able to commit suicide before Horatio, Marcellus, and Bernardo come to get Hamlet and show him the ghost. Hamlet is brought to the battlements and sees the ghost. Hamlet immediately identifies the ghost as his father and follows the spirit into the night, leaving the other three in the dust. Privately, Hamlet speaks with his ghostly father. The ghost charges the prince to avenge his murder. He tells of a tale where his brother, the new king, Claudius, seduced his queen and poured lethal poison into a sleeping King Hamlet's ear. The ghost leaves and Hamlet curses his fate before exiting with the other men. Act 2. Ophelia, Hamlet's love interest, tells her father Polonius about Hamlet's behavior after Polonius told her to cut ties with him. Her father reasons that Hamlet's behavior is a result of Ophelia's rejection. He hurries to tell the king and queen about this revelation. The king has made his own plans to discover the reasons for Hamlet's madness. He summons two of Hamlet's school friends, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, to discover the reason for his distemper. The king discovers that he successfully prevented the war with Norway. Polonius reveals his discovery of Hamlet's foiled love of Ophelia to the king. He offers to loose Ophelia on Hamlet to prove this. Hamlet enters and toys with Polonius through his words. Hamlet's two friends speak with him philosophically before Hamlet forces them to admit that the king and queen sent them. They gossip about a troupe of players that are arriving in Denmark just before they actually do arrive.
Wrong.
Hamlet gains the idea to make these actors perform a play that he himself modified. A play that he hopes will confirm the murder of his father. A play that will surely show the guilt on the king's face. Act 3. The third act begins with the King Claudius agreeing to see Hamlet's play. They decide to loose Ophelia on Hamlet. Ophelia pretends to read a book while the rest hide behind a tapestry. Hamlet enters and begins his famous long and boring speech about the nature of being and death. After speaking with Ophelia, Hamlet berates her and storms off. They decide that Hamlet's madness is being caused by torment and not Ophelia. The king decides to send Hamlet on a diplomatic mission before he can cause any trouble. In the second scene, the play within a play begins. The play follows much of what allegedly happened to Hamlet's deceased father. The king falls asleep and the queen exits. The sleeping king's nephew enters and pours poison in his ear. Hamlet, unable to contain himself, says the nephew will soon win the heart of the queen. At this, Claudius rises and orders the play to cease.
It's time to stop.
Before storming out of the scene. At this, Hamlet confirms his suspicions and reflects that he will be cruel to his mother without physically hurting her. Polonius hides while Hamlet and his mother Gertrude have an argument. Hamlet gets a little physical and his mother cries out for help. Polonius also cries out for help and Hamlet mistakes him for the king, stabbing him behind the curtain, killing him. Hamlet forgets about the death and continues to berate his mother until she sees the error of her ways. The ghost tells Hamlet to stop as he goes even more insane. He exits, dragging Polonius' body behind him. Act 4. Claudius sends Hamlet off to England in response to Polonius' murder and demands the English king kill Hamlet as part of his duties. In the court of Denmark, Gertrude speaks with the gentleman about Ophelia's new madness. Ophelia sings a number of simple and haunting songs like... and... Ophelia, distraught about her father's death, lets her brother Laertes know of the murder. Laertes arrives in Denmark. Laertes questions Claudius about his father's death, and Laertes aligns with Claudius against Hamlet. News arrives in Denmark about Hamlet. He was apparently attacked by pirates, and those same pirates promised to return Hamlet to Denmark after Hamlet boarded the pirate ship during the attack in return for favors. Claudius and Laertes plot to find the means of killing Hamlet that won't upset Gertrude or the people. They propose a duel between Hamlet and Laertes. Laertes suggests that he dip his own sword in poison to kill Hamlet easier. Claudius also suggests a poisoned cup that he will give Hamlet during the fight. While plotting, Gertrude enters with tragic news. Ophelia has drowned, possibly committing suicide. The final act. The final act begins with a conversation between two gravediggers as they dig Ophelia's grave. Hamlet and Horatio arrive while Hamlet trolls off into more philosophy about mortality. Claudius, Gertrude, and Laertes march towards Ophelia's grave with Ophelia's dead body. Laertes sleeps into the grave with his sister and orders to be buried alive. Hamlet reveals himself grappling with Laertes and declares that he loved Ophelia more than 40,000 brothers could. Hamlet exits. The final scene depicts the epic showdown between Hamlet and Laertes. Hamlet wins 2 points in the duel before Gertrude drinks the poison wine that was meant for Hamlet. While Hamlet is unguarded, Laertes wounds him with a poisoned rapier. They scuffle and Hamlet ends up with the poisoned sword and wounds Laertes with it. The queen collapses, claiming to be poisoned. Laertes reveals the whole plan to Hamlet, claiming that they're both going to die anyway. Laertes asks Hamlet forgiveness before dying. Hamlet, knowing he's going to die, begs Horatio to explain the spectacle and clear his name. Other nonsense happens, and that's the end!